Southern California Edison has filed lawsuits against Los Angeles County, local water agencies, and the Southern California Gas Company. The utility claims a series of missteps made last year's Eaton fire more deadly. The fire killed 19 people and destroyed more than 9,400 homes. It took nearly a month to extinguish. SoCal Edison claims county agencies failed to send timely evacuation warnings and that water agencies didn't provide enough water for firefighters. They also blame SoCal Gas for delayed gas shutoffs. Rich Thomason reporting. A Portland, Oregon baby got sick with infant botulism after drinking contaminated By Heart formula donated through a program that helps poor and homeless families. Sean Carter, now 10 months old, is one of more than 50 babies sickened in a botulism outbreak in the U.S. dating back to last year. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
Hey, Eggsy. Slide on over, would you, buddy, to Rumble? Heading out now. Try and get a couple orders in before my meeting.
What your brain has been waiting for. News, politics, and issues. You have just joined the Will Count Majority.
Your generation of great talk radio. The founder of the new school. That's me, Andrew Wilcox, XM Patriot. Phone lines, as always.
Oklahoma.
95 Patriot 957 for the email. Spell my name right, WILKW at localmajority.com. Individual Patriot first, conservative second, Republican third, and working every single day to make this the most popular program offered by Sirius XM Radio. Because based on one thing and one thing only, and that is rational thought. So welcome to the Will Count Majority. I'm Andrew Wilcox.
Wind chill's -9. It's frosty outside.
Today is a very important day. I said this at the top of the hour, first hour. Today we mark a very special day. And it is the day where white liberal women parade around feeling once again morally superior. Because it doesn't matter the cause. Whatever the cause is, it'll eventually be all about how white liberal women feel. That's whether it's LGBTQ, whether it's immigration, whether it's
pretty good.
Day. What these, I guess, chameleons.
Yeah, I could use your chat in
take it over
in Rumble if you could, Oklahoma.
And today is no different.
I need 2 more unique chatters.
Right now is Patrice Obuka, Director of Independent Women's Center of Economic Opportunity. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
It's funny that on a day like this, first of all, I said on social media, if I work today, I'm going to be told I'm not honoring the legacy of the holiday, right? But if I do work today, then I'm also not honoring the legacy of the holiday. So if you're just a middle-aged
Still sick? Sorry to hear that.
So here I am at work, and I'm talking to you. And at the same time, everybody speculates on this day. Well, what would MLK think about, let's say, what's going on in Minneapolis? And if you do speculate, and you're a white Republican, so it says, well, you have no right to speculate on that because you're a white Republican. Although I would have to guess that people of the civil rights era would not think it's appropriate to steer money meant for Americans who are impoverished or needing of a hand up to foreigners, or would not be supportive of the fraud we're seeing there.
Yeah, I mean, but if you were to think about what he stood for, first of all, he was
really. I haven't had a chance to. It's on Peacock, right?
He did a lot of politics.
Oh wow! Look at those cans all blowing around.
Of the Bible, and so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't stand for, young boys like my son's being told that they're girls.
And Don Lemon's going into a church.
Exactly, Don Lemon going into a church, which he, organized beforehand with the organizer. I think that there are a lot of things that would displease him. He certainly viewed justice from a different lens than maybe some Republicans or conservatives might see. But he was conservative from a value standpoint. Now, his personal life, that's another story, as the FBI records have uncovered. But I think the fact that he wanted all of us to look at individual character above all the other immutable characteristics,
Paramount
above
Plus,
skin, above
okay.
ethnicity, those. I think that's still a universal value that we should be appreciative.
I get that through my Amazon account.
A lot of the DEI stuff rolled back from the Biden administration.
Yeah, it's content of character, not color of skin. So, all right, you recently testified in the House about affordability in the American dream. I have said on this program that we don't have a housing crisis. We have an open border crisis. Or the
CBS is Paramount, right? So, I think CBS owns
with
Pluto.
20 million people,
So
and think
it
there
makes
won't
sense.
be any problems in the housing market.
Well, you've got the housing market. We've underbuilt houses for decades now, and so this is kind of a long-standing issue. In addition to the immigration, the illegal immigration, by the way, I'm a naturalized citizen, so I appreciate people who come to this country legally, like myself and my family. But the illegal immigration certainly does place a heavy toll on rental markets, for example. And then you also have tax policies that have not
just
kept
got called in
where house values have been growing. And so you have so many baby boomers and older Americans who would love to trade down, who would love to sell their big family homes, but are worried of a massive tax bill, a capital gains tax bill. And so this is where Congress has a role. And my testimony,
this is the Village, White House. I normally don't cut. I cut through the corner of it. This is the actual Village. So.
Okay, but I think there's a role for Congress to play, obviously, in expanding housing supply through permitting reform,
and we're out.
but also making sure tax policy is catching up to where house values are, so that Americans are not forced to stay in their homes longer than they should because they're
hey, Gregory.
They're going to owe Uncle Sam.
Well, what's funny?
Welcome.
Is Obama had.
I don't know if you have a Rumble, but I need a couple of more unique chatters in Rumble if you don't mind.
Incentivize the creation of single.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Homes in favor of what they called back then multifamily, economically diverse housing. Now, I'm sure you saw that law signed into California. I said with the wildfires, I said, ain't no way they're going to allow those people to rebuild their homes. And when you know it, Gavin Newsom signed a bill into law that allows the state to override local housing decisions, especially near government transportation. And that's something that I've been watching for the better part of 12 years. They don't want average Americans owning homes anymore. They want average Americans living in cloistered, clustered, urban-like living. And if you want that, that's fine. But the suburbs provided a halfway point between the super wealthy who have mansions and people who are living stacked and packed in one another in the cities. And it's funny, in the 90s, they fought suburban sprawl with green space initiatives, but now say, well, you can't use green space initiatives to prevent construction in the suburbs. So which is it?
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, they want you. They no longer want you to drive your car, which is why they want you to take public mass transit. And obviously, they want the federal government to pour.
Yeah, I saw his post. I sent him a message recently. So
nowhere, like trains and high-speed trains.
Yeah, I get it.
There needs to be a recognition that there needs to be.
I hope he starts feeling better soon.
Single-family housing.
Feel bad for you guys.
Most first-time home buyers, the majority of them are buying single.
Guys, 3 orders of fries. This whole order is 3 orders of fries.
For those who want to use their property to build multi-generational housing on it. So Fonzie from Happy Days lived in an apartment above the Cunningham's garage. That is an accessory dwelling unit that you should be able to build that on your property. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of policymakers who've been slow to realize that you need to change the zoning rules, that you need to change the permitting process, so that people can do with their spaces what they would like to do. Not everybody wants to live in a big mixed-use.
It's not city. City only does inside the Village there. Everything outside, including me, it's a private contract. So
bipartisan support.
Yeah, it's private contract, so it's not
when the rubber meets the
city
road,
run.
bill comes up in Congress,
So they do it every day.
Republicans on something like that.
But look how fast the Democrats changed. Again, they wanted to weaponize the green space stuff to keep development from happening. Then they were like, oh my God, we have a house shortage. Now they're saying you can't use the green space.
I pay $100 every 3 months for garbage pickup.
Dig a hole. Now you have to dig a hole. And that's the thing. I was reading about Scott Wiener, the California state senator. I forgot. I think he's running for Nancy Pelosi's seat. He was saying everyone in San Francisco hates him because he's running, or he said they use historical society regulations to keep new development from coming in. And he's created the phrase, the opposite of NIMBY, yes, in my backyard. And he's saying, let's build all this new housing. It's one thing if you look at something like a city that's already in place, where they have the municipal waste capacity, they have the public transportation capacity, and you say, okay, we want to expand.
They will, but you have to have it in those paper bags, so I don't even bother.
That means
I just burn it. I got a big old pit in my backyard. Big old fire pit. And where I live, it's unzoned, so I can burn pretty much any time of year. They try and restrict it in the dry season, but you can't really control it. As long as you have ample a water hose out by it or something like that, you're fine.
And so, we've seen how property taxes rise pretty significantly, and as you see that sprawl expand, that's also going to be a way for the left to be able to.
Yeah, it sucks though. Even though I don't live in the village, I pay taxes to the village, and I don't get any services from them.
But I think that should be dependent on the community to decide.
But see, that's a bigger picture thing. When we talk about immigration, if you live in a town that has a planning board, they address things like, okay, a developer wants to come in here and build. Let's say you have two proposals. One that says
my property taxes went up 20% this year.
On half-acre lots, 3 to 4 bedroom, 2.5.
So last year, really.
And then another developer says, well, I want to take that land and I want to build, 3.
This is the first year I've had to pay it.
The planning board has to say, well, can we support this? Do we have enough? Right. So the planning board has to look at the revenue coming in from property taxes versus what services, if they have to expand, if they have to play.
That sucks.
Because then if they can't, they have to pass in the form of property tax increases. Which
I have to shake those wiper blades, get the ice off them.
We didn't even ask the question. Do we have the infrastructure to support the influx of 20 million people? If you want to know how it's getting so expensive, we didn't even ask that question. Do we have enough doctors? Do we have enough government schools? Do we have enough housing units? Any
wipe one more time.
Would say, what can we support and how much is too much?
Well, and it's interesting being a leader.
Well, you got to keep eating when that happens, so you got to eat and make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. It's important. You don't want to get dehydrated.
You have to prove that you are immunized.
Where's your family from again?
We're from the Caribbean, Montserrat. It's a British island. Yeah. So we had to go through a stringent process to ensure that we would come to this country and be a net positive, not a net negative. Now, what we've seen with the influx of illegal immigrants to the southern border is that they've not been
it's systematic in me, man.
A net negative because they have not proven that they can take care of themselves. We've seen the usage of public services and, frankly, a lot of welfare programs that illegal immigrants should legally not have access to. We've seen the end runs around that in states like California, taking advantage of the healthcare system. So, those are.
I hope you shake it.
What is the right level of legal immigration? We want zero illegal immigration, but what is the right level of legal immigration? And are we ensuring that people who come to
I understand.
Country
Sucks.
have the best goals at heart? And, it's a fair question to ask because we've also seen those come through the southern border.
Especially with your gut issues as it is, I'm sure that really blows.
And dangerous for
literally.
See, that's interesting. See, that's the thing. If we're going to have
I get it.
populations.
Plain.
Again, we have to ask, okay, obviously refugees and asylum seekers are not going to likely be able to provide for themselves right off the bat like a legal immigrant, right? So if your parents are professionals in Montserrat, you say, okay, we'd like to come to the United States. Here's what we do for a living down there. We'd like to do it in the United States. Okay, at least you got marketable skills.
No worries.
We're not worried that you're going to come here and become a public charge. But again, they didn't.
You're not sharing with a whole lot of people. I think you're the only one on Rumble right now.
If you're looking at programs that were set up by our federal government to support,
I don't even have my backup, my earbuds. I'm actually having to read it because they didn't set up my other phone yet. I will after this call.
Whatever it is. Now you have this influx of people who also need that. You have to say to your citizens, you need to expect less. Or they turn around and say, well, we got to raise taxes. American citizens shouldn't be paying a higher rate of taxes because the Democrats irresponsibly brought people into the country.
Well, and the Democrats, their goal has been about...
There's always lurkers, though.
They want a higher headcount in certain cities and areas where they can then, boost the numbers for the census, which, it means more resource.
I wish they would just say hi in chat so I can get my unique shadows, though.
Citizens who have been living in cities like Chicago. There's a really interesting dynamic where Black Americans whose roots are rooted here.
It's just blowing over. It didn't snow much. Oh, dude. I'm like hitting the brakes at the last minute, asswipe.
They've been demanding or asking for resources, for education, for better schools, for the elderly in their neighborhoods, for community centers, so kids don't have to be, deal with gang violence. And they've been told no for generations. Yet they've seen over the past 4 years of the Biden administration, illegal immigrants replanted in their communities and get access to immediate benefits right away to the tunes of tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. So, I think that's a great example and illustration of how the left has pitted even demographics against one another. And so it's interesting to see how some Black Americans are starting to wake up and realize, well, you know what? I'm fine with legal immigration when we're asking the right questions, but this illegal immigration has put us behind to the benefit of those whose status here is illegal, and in some cases are bringing dangerous and public assistance and public safety problems.
Come on.
Well, when they talk about reparations and African Americans, I always say,
Jeez, the traffic. I can't believe how much traffic there is.
Because not every Black American is an African. If you came here from Montserrat, you are, I guess, a West Indies.
I should not have reparations. I don't want them.
Is it West Indies? Is that how you refer to it?
West Indies.
West Indies. So if you're here from Barbados or Jamaica or Trinidad, yes, perhaps your family hails from Africa.
I'll be right back.
Coming to the United States would not make you African American. It makes you, I guess, to be honest, I don't even know what the proper term is.
Call me Black.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine by me. But they've lumped in all these people who have no relationship to Americans of what's the ADO? Americans, descendants of slavery. That you can't say, well, we need these programs for someone who just got here 5 minutes ago from Somalia. That's not what the program is for if you're talking about ADOS Americans.
Well, that's exactly right. And it's interesting because they like to bring us together to talk about the hardship and the oppression of all Black people in America. But then when it's time to talk about reparations, oh, not you guys. And the funny thing is, I think they, African and generally Black immigrants, we'll hold some of these more recent cases of Somali fraud aside. But you see that a lot of Black immigrant families, what do they have in common? Two-parent households, married two parents before they have children, which means that they are high-earning, high-educated professionals who are starting to, who buy properties and who are building wealth in America. And frankly, I can include myself and my husband in that category. We're demonstrating that the oppression, that the narrative of oppression does not hold in 2026. It is not the case that, somehow having brown or black skin in this country means that you are a victim, that you cannot rise above your circumstances, that your children will be doomed to poor and failing school systems. No, we are proving that absolutely, regardless of what your last name sounds like or what your skin looks like, you can absolutely arise. And to the point where my 7-year-old son and 6-year-old sons were in the White House in the Oval Office last Thursday afternoon to watch President Trump sign a bill into law that brings whole milk and 2% milk back into public schools. That is a testament. Yes, that is my son.
When we talk about things, why is the federal government spending any of its time on this, right? One way or the other. This is the stuff that people like me are like, why? This is a waste of time. I applaud the president for saying, let the milk flow whichever way you want it. But why are we even talking? It just seems like the federal government is doing 10,000 things it was never designed to do. Okay? But I do have to wrap this up because we're 3 minutes past the segment. You're always welcome on the program, though.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being on today with you.
We went round and round and round. Patricia Mulca, director of the Independent Women's Center of Economic Opportunity. We're right, they're wrong. That's the end of the story. The arguments on this radio program cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot.
Your 2026 fitness journey deserves a better soundtrack. Find out over 20 app-exclusive workout channels, including channels built to walk, jog, and run. Listen now for a limited time on Channel 105 and wherever your workout takes you.
Hey, Jody.
With the Sirius XM app.
Man, these fries smell good.
Are you ready to own your
I'm going to eat when I'm at the
Mr. Sandless, the #1 wood
business
floor
meeting
retailer
later.
in the world, is looking to open 50 new locations this year. You could be the exclusive Mr. Sandless owner right where you live. Mr. Sandless uses a wet refinishing process that delivers beautiful floors without the mess and cost of traditional sanding. Mr. Sandless has already refinished more than 150 million square feet of wood floors with no sanding and nothing to clean up afterwards. Here's their offer. You get the franchise, the territory, the training, the manual, the cloud-based CRM, the equipment, marketing materials, and solutions, all for just $19,000. You can put that on a credit card. How much can you make? The average Mr. Sandless owner last year made $175,000 working part-time. Full-time operators make much more than this. It's time to change your life. Get all the details at msfranchise.com. That's msfranchise.com.
Does he?
But hurry, as the best.
All right, let me get the other phone going. Hang on. Thanks for noticing. I can't tell on the studio. That's why I usually have the other phone going too on the chat.
Contributor Dr. Drew from the Wellness Company. Doctor, how should we prepare for colds and flu?
Thank you for letting me know.
Season is here, and every year your loved one gets sick. Your doctor can't see you. Waiting in a crowded urgent care is brutal. This is a particularly bad cold and flu season, and it's why doctors suggest every family needs an emergency medical kit. Your medical emergency kit is filled with essential prescriptions. It includes antibiotics like generic Z-Pak to get well faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, plus prescriptions for nausea and UTIs, and even ivermectin. It's easy. Just match your symptoms to the prescription in your guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Having a medical emergency kit is like having an urgent care in your home. No waiting to see a doctor, no lines at the pharmacy. Save $45 with promo code.
I'll do it while driving.
At urgentcarekit.com.
Oh shit.
That's promo code XL at urgentcarekit.com/XL. Urgent Care Kit.
Well, it actually helps me while I'm driving because this way I get to hear the text to voice. I get to hear it in my earpiece.
The polos, sweaters, and every layer in between. Untuckit has something for every shape, every size, and every occasion. Don't miss the chance to save 40% this weekend. Go to untuckit.com and use
the cop up ahead.
That's untuckit.com. Untuckit. We just make guys look better. We, the people of the United States, in American history.
It's not really that big. Spread out, but it's not that big.
And in a major foreign policy crisis. And on January 24th, 1848, gold is discovered at Sutter's Mill, sparking the California gold rush and accelerating Western expansion. Coming down to America 250 only on Sirius XM.
We'll see if she's still there as we approach it.
You're making resolutions. Your car has a different agenda. It's plotting to spend your money. You might have a fresh start, but you're driving the same old vehicle. And the simple math is this.
Said he was sitting right here on the right. Looks like he's already moved. I don't see him.
Arguments can be broken.
Or the wind is gusting and the speed drops.
Transmission blow up your budget in 2026.
Nope.
They protect
don't see him.
Americans with low cost, month-to-month
check off the not there.
Guarantee. The rate you lock in now is the price you pay for as long as you cover that car. In this economy, that's tactical leverage. It includes 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car benefits. Look, stop hoping nothing breaks and start the year protected with CarShield. Get your free quote and 20% off today. Visit carshield.com/willcount. That's carshield.com/willcount. Or call 800-619-6488.
When media makes you sick, look how settles your stomach.
I really haven't spent much time on Greenland. By the way, you did see that Trump...
I think I've delivered to this house before.
Of course, the Nobel laureate committee running out. Giving him the medal doesn't make him an actual Nobel laureate. Because Machado gave Trump her actual medal. The Europeans are freaking out because they know after the invasion of Ukraine, they have lost the ability to deal with their own continent.
-9 to -12 with these gusts.
Our European allies
here today
have been and are and will continue a slow, miserable decline and death of their culture.
The high tomorrow is like 9 degrees.
And when I hear Democrats screaming and yelling that Trump is going to take...
We'll get one warm day, and that's Wednesday. We'll almost hit 30, but then it drops down real cold by Friday again.
Greenland go back all the way to the Truman administration. Okay? Harry Truman tried to purchase Greenland from Denmark in 1946. You ready for this? What do you guys think the price tag was? You had a guess. You can open the mic and say it. For Greenland? Yeah, back in 1946. 500 million? 100 million in gold bullion. $100 million in gold bullion, which would be roughly somewhere around 2 billion now. 100 million back then, 2 billion now. What are the Danes doing? I think their attitude is, well, if you're worried about Russia or China getting hostile towards Greenland, well, you kind of have to protect us because of Article 5 of NATO. So basically, they could be as weak as they want, knowing full well we have to defend them. Why wouldn't then we take the lead? Now, I don't want to see Trump use military force to take Greenland. I would like to see a vote in Greenland. Shouldn't these people be given an opportunity? Shouldn't these people be given an opportunity to decide their fate? What's wrong with saying they should have a vote? I mean, conceivably, if the U.S. Virgin Islands is some territory like Guam or American Samoa said, well, we'd like to be with someone else. I mean, I don't know how we would respond to that. But what are the Danes doing to really secure this island that is insanely rich in natural resources from the Chinese and the Russians? Again, the United States has worried about what would happen if Greenland fell into the hands of the Russians since the end of World War II. And when Trump says, maybe we ought to take a second look at this, oh my God, this is crazy, it's controversial, but we watched the Europeans, it's kind of a twofold thing. The United States usually offers to take the lead and be the world police. Something I and many people who consider themselves libertarian leaning or into the Monroe Doctrine think has gone too far. But that being said, what did the Europeans do to secure the Ukrainian border?
That's for sure going to happen.
Nothing. What did the Biden administration do? Nothing. What did NATO do? Nothing. They all sat there on their hands watching Russia build up its forces. What were the consequences of the Russian invasion in 2014? Nothing. Strongly written words, strongly written emails from the European Union. Whoop-de-whoop-de-doo. You know, when they talk about Trump and aggression and all this stuff, first of all, Donald Trump is the most non-interventionist president in our adult lives. Well, maybe save for Reagan. Trump is
don't pull out, please.
He's looking to prevent wars, the Abraham Accords, shifting the Western Hemisphere, but to push out the socialist and communist influences of China and Russia and the Cubans. This realignment actually makes perfect sense if you get down on it.
Oh, it's never been.
But what
Hey, Jacob.
The Europeans do to secure Ukraine. Everything can't be the responsibility of the United States. Right? Trump and his circle have learned that the Europeans expect the United States to always take the lead in their hemisphere. And what it seems like Trump is trying to do is create peace in the Middle East. I guess not divorce the United States, but have the United States in a way pull back from always taking the lead without getting walked on. But really, the United States has contributed far beyond its share to the security of Europe. And maybe Trump's people think it's time that bird flies on its own. Because ever since the end of World War II and the Cold War,
yeah, there was an army base there. I remember. That was always something that they used to tease you about. That's where you were going to get sent if you fucked up. You were going to get sent to station in Greenland.
I really do. But what did the Europeans do with what's called the peace dividend? Once they realized they had
sure that would be pretty good TDY pay.
The United States, they made greater investments in education and healthcare and all these other state-provided services, which is what most of the time.
Oh, thank you for the raid, Jacob.
Well, it's easy to promote single-payer healthcare. It's easy to promote free higher education. It's easy to promote all of these things, early child development, when you don't have to fund your own defense.
Yeah.
Right. What does they always say?
We actually have quite a few subs underneath the ice, too.
They have ours. Now, I know they do have an army, but they don't have to fully invest in a military, knowing they're next door to us. Same thing for Mexico. So when you have the likes of...
Welcome anybody who's there. Just say hi in chat for me, please. Drop a like. You could use the unique chatters for the creator pay.
Social welfare programs, because they don't have to be primarily concerned about national defense because of NATO. It is not isolationist to say maybe the Europeans should be more responsible for the ongoing in their hemisphere and on their continent. Maybe the Europeans should be primarily responsible for security.
Yeah, that was always supposedly one of the backup landing spots for
going back to Harry Truman,
space shuttle.
There's been a concern about what would happen, and it was the same thing, yes, with Iran.
Oh shit!
What if the Iranian oil fell into the hands
Yep, that was it.
of the
God damn it!
During the Cold War, this was a legitimate fear. So there was involvement between the United States and the UK to nudge out the administration that wanted to nationalize the oil industry and partner up with Russia. Now, I don't like the international chess playing either. And maybe that's what Trump is saying. How about this? You guys become more self-sufficient. And by the way, Greenland's in our hemisphere. The Danes know that if the Chinese and the Russians become more aggressive with Greenland, they can rely on the United States because of NATO. Trump is saying, well, then maybe we should take the lead.
Leave it door.
I don't know. I don't want to see military force. Maybe a hybrid of a vote and then a price demand by the Danes, which is negotiated by the United States, and somewhere they meet in the middle. 695 Patriot 957-2874. Listen, have you been overindulging a bit? You know, the holidays are slightly behind us. The Super Bowl's coming, so you're going to be doing it again. Who hasn't, right? All the heavy food, delicious sweets, and alcohol can take a major toll on your liver. But if you've made a resolution to get 2026 off to a healthy start, you don't have to break that resolution, by the way. This is pretty easy. Why not start by giving your liver the love it deserves for all that hard work by taking Active Liver from New Nordic, available in easy-to-take tablets or delicious gummies. I do the gummies. Active Liver is an important part of my daily wellness routine to help keep my body detoxed and feeling its best. Truly, I take 2 gummies with my coffee in the morning before I get to my workout supplements. I've noticed, though, less digestion issues, better energy, and just feeling healthier and less worn down since I started taking Active Liver. Take my advice and get your new year off to a healthy start by adding Active Liver as a simple, delicious daily detox. Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, or you can pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meyer Grocery, and now Wegmans. Add that to the list. So new year, new you, new Nordic. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi. I want to take a little with over 2 decades of country essentials.
Yeah, no, I think I have.
The channel that takes you from Toby and George.
I think you are right, sir.
And Jason. All the way up to Luke and Thomas Red. Country. The country superstars of the 2000s are on Y2 Country, Channel 57, and the Sirius XM app.
Land buyers and aviation lovers, this is the final countdown. Go to pecanlandinfo.com or call 855-LAND-100. We're down to the final 30 taxiway lots in one of the most unique fly-in communities in the country, just outside DFW. Taxiway home sites start in the low 200,000s with concrete roads.
I don't think Gaza will.
And direct runway access.
I don't think he was serious about that.
Home and taxi straight to takeoff.
That was definitely a troll.
It's a fully gated resort-style community with golf courses, arena, lake and river access, restaurants, groceries, medical services, equestrian facilities, and a true golf cart lifestyle. Also available, the final 3 to 7 acre ranch lots. And coming soon, private airplane hangars. Fly in or drive in. Just don't wait. Visit pecanlandinfo.com or 855-LAND-100. That's
Oh yeah, he does.
Land 100. Are you ready to own?
He loves it because it drives the left crazy.
Is looking to open 50 new locations this year. You could be the exclusive Mr. Sandless owner right where you live.
They take everything he says seriously.
That delivers beautiful floors without
He
the
knows
cost
it.
and cost of traditional sanding. Mr. Sandless has already refinished more than 150 million square feet of wood floors with no sanding and nothing to clean up afterwards. Here's their offer. You get the franchise, the territory, the training, the manual, the cloud-based CRM, the equipment, marketing.
Yeah, I think he was having some work done out back.
19,000. You can put that on a credit card. How much can you make? The average Mr. Sandless owner last year made $175,000 working part-time. Full-time operators make much more than this. It's
Head back
time
toward
to change your life.
Holland,
Get
West
all the
Toledo.
details at msfranchise.com.
See if we can get
That's
through Swan.
msfranchise.com. But hurry, as
I'd
the
actually like to get
territories
pulled into
will
the
go
sucker
fast.
before this meeting, so I'll be closer.
msfranchise.com. Listen closely. If your retirement funds include an IRA or 401k, this matters right now. The stock market is at an all-time high. The dollar is under pressure. Interest rates are heading down. And leading economists are warning that the global financial system is changing. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now to get your free gold investment guide.
Doge,
Yeah. $49, plus your free copy of
I don't think Elon's running it anymore, but he still supports it.
Problem. Investors across America are turning to gold and silver with Advantage Gold.
They're bringing out prosecutors. They're going to start prosecuting that shit.
History shows when silver moves, it can move.
But I'll even go with the less view on that. They were actually looking to do that before
Precious Metals Rollover Kit. Find out about a tax and penalty-free rollover in 2026.
Before Trump even took over, but now it's actually come to light, and they're actually going to do it. They were trying to ignore it. They were quote unquote investigating for years.
That's 800-900.
But it took a reporter a couple hours to figure it out.
What would happen to your family if the unthinkable happened to you?
Yeah, I'm trying to
think about it. That's why I'm calling it the unthinkable. Would they be able to stay at the home? What about financially? Would they struggle? What about your kids, their future, and their education? Well, here's the good news. There's an easy way to help protect your family, and that's with life insurance through Ethos. See, with Ethos, you can get life insurance covered in just minutes. No medical exam, 100% online, no doctor visits, no blood tests, no hassle.
Yeah, they'll get it if they take, I mean, that's something he'll be able to veto. What the fuck's going on here? Why is this cars having to go around this plow?
Rates can go up.
He stopped?
So spend 10 minutes. Get covered today with Ethos.
What's he doing?
Life is unpredictable, but getting life insurance shouldn't be. For your free quote, visit Ethos.
Stopped in the middle of the fucking road.
That's ethos.com/willcount. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. The sample rate is for a 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male.
Buy American. Bye-bye, America.
So we save sometimes the best for last. My incoming governor, Mikey Sherrill, went on ABC News yesterday and said Trump is now attacking the cost of living. Really? Gee, Governor Sherrill, have you been to New Jersey? Cut 10.
The area I represent is responsible for an incredible amount of innovation
Yeah,
for
I
the
live
nation's
there.
economy, and to continue to punish the people of New Jersey, who, by the way, send $70 billion more in federal taxes to the government than we receive back, to continue to attack opportunity, innovation, schools, jobs, cost of living is madness. I mean, this is the area where we can really grow the American economy, and instead, the president continues to focus on things like
It's Andrew Wilkow.
Greenland, and then putting tariffs up on Europe.
I think that's where he's from originally. I'm not sure where he broadcasts from now. But
that would be to everybody's pocketbook, and I can guarantee you, after spending a year and speaking to thousands of people across the state, that there is not one person in New Jersey that wakes up in the morning and says, gee, I hope today's the day that the president dumps billions of dollars into buying Greenland while my grocery store costs continue to go up.
Okay, you know, it's funny. She still hasn't answered how she made $7 million, almost $2 million per year since she's been in Congress. I mean, even Charlemagne, Mr. Lagarde, tried to get it out of her, and he couldn't. Now, her home base is Montclair. The only thing Montclair developed, okay, the wealth of Montclair is entirely wrapped up in college professors with scams. Pretending to do research, pretending to develop things. It's a big scam. But I live in her district. And the price of, you know what, she never talks about the state income tax, the state gas tax, which just went up again to the highest in the nation. No, it's Donald Trump that is somehow driving up the cost of life in New Jersey, not the Democrats who run the state top to bottom. No, it's somehow Donald Trump's fault. That's laughable.
yeah,
Here's Jacob,
they got some of the highest taxes besides like New York,
on
California.
ABC News saying, "Well, we didn't do anything wrong here in Minneapolis." Cut 5.
If and when that subpoena comes and we are told that investigation,
nice. Turn on the turn signal as you're fucking turning, dipshit.
With the Justice Department's demands.
Look, we have done nothing wrong. So, of course, we will comply in it. But at the same time, we need to be understanding how wild.
Ohio's looking at getting rid of property taxes completely, or income tax.
This is not the way that we conduct ourselves in America.
They're debating which one they want to work on first.
Right now to keep people safe in our city. We have spoken out to make sure that our residents are protected and people's constitutional rights are upheld. Speaking out in that way is not illegality. In fact, that is enshrined in the charter of our city, which is our Constitution.
So Governor Walz has activated the National Guard, put them on standby just in case things got out of control. How tense are things in Minneapolis right now?
The intensity is caused by the unwanted, uninvited people that are here in the form of ICE.
Okay, you don't have a right to be in the country illegally. You're not a resident if you're in the country illegally. The city and state doesn't have to invite the federal government in. Enforcing federal law is legal. Being in the country illegal is not. So the fact that you are doing everything you can to protect people in the country illegally and Somali daycare scams.
It's a shell game.
The DOJ is looking.
It's like Florida, no income tax, but they got huge property tax there. Although they are working on that now, so we'll see.
Based on the city charter, that city charter doesn't mean anything up against the Constitution when it comes to the enforcement of federal law.
I mean, our sales tax is what, 5.25 or 75% here.
Ilhan Omar calling it the United Goddamn States of America.
It is appalling for our colleagues.
But the cities are also putting on sales tax too. It's like in Toledo, it's like combined, it's like
here in Minnesota. It is appalling for our Republican colleagues to be okay, for there to be self-detention.
Yeah, Buffalo area, and up by the Finger Lakes. I got a buddy who lives up by the Finger Lakes.
For there to be checkpoints in American cities where people are asked for their papers, and it is
like during COVID
for Americans to have to carry their citizen papers only to be told they are not sure if those papers are correct. I don't want to curse, but those of us who escaped places like that, the one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. goddamn States.
What?
You people wanted checkpoints all across the country when it came to COVID. What the hell are you talking about? You wanted to throw people in jail who didn't wear masks. You wanted to ruin the lives of people who didn't get vaccinated. You wanted to have curfews and tell people when they could and could not leave their homes. Screw you, lady. What the hell are you talking about? Now I'm going to end with this and then maybe we'll get a call.
Back into Swanton.
Oh, boy. Is it LARPing? Here's some fat, dorky video game nerd who maybe played a round of airsoft acting like he's all hard, walking around Minneapolis with an AR-15, cut 4.
You live in the neighborhood? Yep, this is my block, this is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try to intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you getting the name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood's showing up.
You guys have a lot of people out here, right?
At least 30 or more.
Yeah.
40 or 50.
And what are you going to do
for a quick turnout?
What are you going to do, Donut Boy? You know, and now you have the Black Panthers out there. What are you going to do? You guys believe in the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I saw that. That's all the commentators are talking about that today.
The Second Amendment doesn't give you the right or the privilege to shoot ICE agents who are legally enforcing our immigration laws. That is not how the Second Amendment works. Yeah, you guys say it's about fighting tyranny. Yeah, again, lawful enforcement of immigration laws on people who are not lawfully in this country. You fat
got a subway order here.
And you Black Panther cosplay revolutionary do not have the right to raise your weapon at an ICE agent. And if you do, I'm going to tell you something.
You're going to get shot in the face.
I don't know specifically about all of ICE. I do know from my experience of speaking at NRA law enforcement shooting events that Border Patrol cleans up all the time. These guys are on the trigger all the time. I know the narrative. If you hate a bunch of people who get proper training, blah, 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 blah. It's a battle you're going to lose. If you start opening up on ICE, it's a battle you're going to lose. 1-695 Patriot 957-2874. Chris, Charlotte, North Carolina, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? It's my first time listening to the show.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard the word rational as part of the description when you first started the show. I haven't heard much of it, but first, we know that Trump does not have a Nobel Prize, right? It's still in her name.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know that.
Okay. You didn't say that.
That's funny. It's funny.
I don't know what your callers really believe or not, but
well, it's funny. What did Obama get a Nobel Prize for? What was his accomplishments that he received the Nobel Prize?
My point is that prize belongs to Machado. She can give it physically to him, but it will always be noted that it belongs to her,
we know
whether
that.
he has it in his hand or not. You may know that, but I don't know if all your callers know that.
Because right, I'm just talking to a bunch of ignorant people. All right.
I don't know. I didn't say that. You called them ignorant. It's your show.
Okay.
I just said they may not know that.
Let's get to the point.
Yeah, that was one point. The other point is, rational person wanted to understand more about how it's okay to invest money with foreign policies and foreign infrastructure, but it's not okay to invest money here with immigrants. What's the difference?
Well, if there's a treaty that's ratified by the Senate, then we would invest in foreign. Okay, what part of the Constitution allows the federal government to spend our taxpayer money on people in the country illegally?
I don't think the Constitution is having a place in any of these
but it does
right now
See,
because executive orders are being
lady, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. I'm going to give you the opportunity to call the report. Okay, you called this program because maybe you have the day off and you think that you're going to paint me as ignorant. I'm going to ask you a basic civics question. It's a basic civics question. What part of the Constitution allows the federal government to spend domestically on people in the country illegally? Go.
I don't understand why you're asking me a question when I called in.
Because you're asking me, what about the federal government has certain spending powers, okay? If they're involved in a treaty where the Senate ratifies the treaty, then the United States might have an expectation that it's going to transfer funds into the interest of another country. I'm asking you, domestically speaking, where in the Constitution does it give the federal government to charge the American people in the name of people in the country illegally?
I knew you were going to divert.
And by the way, I'm against the majority of foreign aid. I can't stand foreign aid.
Well, that's something we have an agreement on.
Okay. Now explain to me how people in the country illegally should have an expectation that
I didn't say illegally. I said immigration. Not all immigration is illegal. You just had your guest on earlier who said she was a naturalized citizen. Naturalized citizens also being deported as well.
We have laws against public charges. We have laws against public charges that you can't come to this country and expect a handout.
And I don't think most people come to this country expecting a handout.
So bullshit.
Then we can cut all the immigrants off of we can cut all the immigrants off these programs. We don't have to fund these Somali daycare centers anymore. We don't have to give money to California for their Medicaid programs and all that other stuff.
So we aren't funding, even if these Somali daycare workers and parents are there legally, we don't want to fund them, right?
Well, if you, I'm out of time in the program. Have you ever read a thing called the 10th Amendment?
Have you?
Yeah, every day on this program.
I'm an American citizen. I don't know why you think I wouldn't.
So, what does the 10th Amendment say?
You asked me a question.
What does the
to make
10th
a
Amendment
point.
say? You just
So
said
make your point.
you know what it is. So tell me what it is.
You asked me, have I read it? Yes,
So
I've read the Constitution because I was
what does
educated
the
here in
10th
this
Amendment
country
say?
from K
What
through
does
a
the 10th
degree.
Amendment say?
I don't know what the 10th Amendment
Okay,
says.
that's the answer. Thank you very much for the call. All powers not granted to the government of the United States, unless the Constitution presents them, are reserved to the states. So we're all in agreement here. Let's cut off all this federal money for all these programs in the cities and states. We agree. Hannity's up next, or whoever's filling in for Hannity. Then Levin, or whoever's filling in for Levin, and Stacey, or whoever's filling in for Stacey. Sirius XM Patriot.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it.
Fed up with stubborn earwax? Get Wax RX from Dr. Easy. Dr. Easy professional ear washers have been used over 40 million times by medical professionals. Now you can get the same
passed away, he was still able to provide for my mom. And of course, my brother and I.
Let's fix this.
This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. The best place to get life insurance is ethos.com.
Hey, Jot.
Because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test. Just a few health questions. 10 minutes. You're covered. Your family is covered. You get $2 million in coverage for $2 a day. That's a 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. We don't like to talk about death in our culture, but everyone's going to die. You're going to die. Get life insurance.
Yeah, I was going to do it, but order was starting to run late, and the address is wrong on the order.
Rates may vary, billed monthly.
So I got to fix that.
Slater.
Do your business a favor this year. Boost your profits and efficiency with a reliable truck from SFI. We have brand new 2026 Freightliners available to lease now, as well as gently used Freightliners, Internationals, and Volvos. SFI's trucks are spec for owner-operators with advanced safety technology.
Well, I should have done that help before they closed the order, though.
Backed by warranty protection to help you lower your out-of-pocket expenses. Head over to sfitrucks.com to see our full inventory, detailed truck specs, and low money down options. That's sfitrucks.com.
Do I choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we say cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store and online. And now, the more you buy, the more you save on beds, spaces, and more. Limited time.
Hey, Wilson.
JD Power 2025 award information. Visit
Welcome.
jdpower.com/awards. Check it out at the Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
I'm going to get you a membership here. Wilson's already got one. Okay. Well, I'm generally staying warm, but except for when I'm outside the car right now.
And yes, he wants more violence on our streets.
Hey, it's a nice cozy 11 degrees, -4 with the wind chill.
This isn't hard, doctor. Can men get pregnant? Yes or no?
I would be more than happy to have a conversation with you that is not coming from a place of trying to be polarized.
Freedom is back in style. Welcome to the revolution. We're coming to your city. Sean Hannity Show. More behind-the-scenes information on breaking news and more bold, inspired solutions for America. All right, thank you, Scott Shannon. Thanks to all of you for being with us. Wow, what a busy news day. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You want to be a part of the program. It's 800-941-SEAN if you want to join us.
Yeah, blue balls weather.
Around the cover. We obviously have the situation in Minneapolis getting progressively worse. More and more radical groups are making their way inside of Minneapolis for the purpose of stirring up trouble, as if it hasn't been bad enough.
I think blue balls comes from something else, though.
We'll play it later in the program. You know, Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Jayapal, Chris Van Hollen, Eric Holder, Eric Swalwell.
I don't think that's a temperature thing.
Don Lemon, is out there. By the way, he got a warning from the DHS we'll get to. Meanwhile, the DHS, what have they been doing? You know, no one disputes the fact that the death of anti-ICE protesters
brass monkey, I've heard, yes.
The loss of human life is a tragedy. There is a lesson to be learned from all
heard
of this.
That.
Don't take your car and accelerate right at a law enforcement officer. Nobody's going to, focus on that reality, that threat. Nobody in the legacy media mob is willing to do what we have done, and that is compile the list of people that have been arrested, the worst of the worst. And I'm talking about murderers and rapists, other violent criminals.
It's a deep ditch over there.
Gang leaders and Tren de Aragua members, and the list goes on and on. DHS announced this morning ICE has already removed 2,500 criminal illegal aliens from the streets of Minneapolis alone, not just Minnesota.
We've been scrolling a list on TV of how many in Minnesota have been arrested. Criminal illegals that makes towns and cities all over Minnesota more safe and more secure. The White House now blaming and slamming.
Yeah, it's blowing pretty hard.
Agitators that
These fields reminds me of my drive back from
accusing local left-wing leaders,
Peoria.
Governor Idiot Walz and Mayor French Fry of inciting the chaos. There's no low these radical leftists won't stoop to. White House spokesperson Abigail Johnson telling Fox News, Jacob Fry, Tim Walz have whipped these rioters into a frenzy and turned them loose to wreak havoc on Minneapolis. They should be ashamed of themselves. I don't think leftists like this have any shame. The Trump DOJ now vowing to prosecute Minnesota's anti-ICE church invaders. Harmeet Dillon saying 2 prosecutors from my office are already on their way to Minneapolis. And the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, apparently talked to the pastor of this church and vowed to prosecute anti-ICE protesters that disrupted this church service in St. Paul, Minnesota. Quote, attacks against law enforcement and the intimidation of Christians are being met with the full force of federal law. If state leaders refuse to
look at this. All this blown over snow here too.
The DOJ will remain mobilized to prosecute.
Not nearly as bad as it was that night.
Rule of law prevails. Harmeet Dillon, assistant DA in charge of the Civil Rights Division, said 2 prosecutors
barely even see where the fucking road continues there. I'm not even going to go straight.
This is going to get the
Waze wants me to go straight here, but I don't know. Let's go. Fuck it. Let's give it a try.
And it's the right to assemble and pray to God, and there are federal laws that protect that.
It's hard to tell where the road is. I'll just keep an eye on the power lines there.
These protesters, and she will. I mean, it's just a sad, pathetic thing.
Oh.
That I don't know if you saw the video. We'll show you on TV tonight. The Democratic Party's illegal alien, lobbyists have spent the last months complaining about ICE agents invading schools, houses of worship to catch dangerous criminal illegals. There hasn't been a single.
Oh, then it gets perfect. Once we get away from that field.
But, that's their big talking point. But we did have, and we have video of a mob of anti-ICE agitators storming this church in St. Paul, interrupting a worship service. Videos show the agitators chanting "Justice for Brene Good" inside the sanctuary at City's church as the service began, raising concerns among law enforcement. More and more people in the evangelical community, pastors that I know, people.
Yeah, it depends on how fast it's moving, but yeah, it's about right.
They're putting in sophisticated, technology, facial.
And you're only about
security
6 hours west of me.
And they've got massive security presences just for people to go to church in peace and in safety in this day and age. It's insane. ICE heroes have arrested.
Depends on what direction the wind's blowing.
Harbored by Minnesota officials so far, according to the New York Post. That's not. I mentioned earlier Minneapolis. This is Minnesota, the state. Since the start of the second Trump administration, 3,000 cuffed in the last 6 weeks alone, according to the Department of Homeland Security. We're talking about people that were killing Americans, raping children, raining terror in Minneapolis because French Fry and Timmy Walz refused to protect people in their community and are demonizing these officers for doing their job. Illegal alien patients, by the way, I saw this, over $1 billion it's costing Texas taxpayers. In California, it's billions. Now, Don Lemon, formerly of fake news CNN, has been put on notice by the DOJ because apparently, according to this report on FoxNews.com, he joined anti-ICE agitators, and he's been posting, videos online since being fired by CNN. And I guess he's, planted himself in Minneapolis or Minnesota somewhere. And anyway, he entered the church along with the anti-ICE agitators, telling viewers that the freedom to protest is what the First Amendment is all about. And as Harmeet Dillon said, a house of worship is not a public forum for your protest. It is a space protected from exactly such acts by federal criminal and civil laws. Nor does the First Amendment protect your pseudo-journalism of disrupting a prayer service. You're on notice. Good luck to him. DOJ, launching this civil rights investigation at this particular point. Let me play. I'll give you an example. I'm so sick and tired of this. 2 nights in a row on TV, I've had fights with Democrats, and I'm going to play a little bit of it, and then maybe later in the program we'll play the rest. Here's an ICE agent that, he said, we are here to get somebody that is threatening. Well, he's telling protesters, we're here to arrest the child sex offender. This is who you're protecting. Listen to this.
We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
No, we're present.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigation while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
It is insane. And that's why I've been scrolling the list that nobody else in the media will scroll. And Trump is now having to warn Minnesota officials that he may step in to end the chaos. And he said in a Truth Social post that in Minnesota, the troublemakers, agitators, insurrectionists are in many cases highly paid professionals. The governor and mayor don't know what to do. They have totally lost control and are currently being rendered useless. Even when I am forced to act, it will be solved quickly and effectively. Even though they have no authority, of the Philadelphia DA, this idiot Larry Krasner's his name, appeared alongside other local officials this week criticizing ICE and threatening to arrest ICE agents. We will arrest you. We will handcuff you. And I mean, this is madness. They're threatening to take away their licenses. They don't have the right. We have a constitution. We have the Supremacy Clause. Jurisdiction to enforce federal law lies, and the jurisdiction lies with the federal government. And by the way, these states that think they're going to prosecute federal agents that have to defend themselves, they're not going to get anywhere, because if they're acting in the line of duty, they have no jurisdiction to do so, nor will they be allowed to do so. It's not going to happen. It's pretty incredible. Even the New York Times? Did you see the New York Times? This is an interesting article. It's not that they're not abusively corrupt and biased. They are. But the New York Times, after Renee Good killing, a derisive term for white women spreads in the far right. I'd never heard of it before. Did you ever hear of this before? It has the acronym AWFUL, Linda. Do you ever hear of this?
I have not.
Or affluent white female urban liberal. I don't even know what that means.
We should just call them Karens. It was easier.
That's very mean of you. That's very politically incorrect. You know what a Karen is? I don't know what a Karen is. I don't know what a furry is. I don't know. I can't keep up with this crap. State Department stops issuing visas for welfare benefiting illegals and dependent illegals. And by the way, in the free state of Florida, this lady, in Jacksonville punched the state trooper. Ron DeSantis goes, no, we're not Minneapolis. You're not going to get treated the same way. An illegal from El Salvador charged with gunning down 2 North Carolina teens. This is who they're dealing with every day. There's actually a group of leftists now. They're organizing all over these left-wing cities and states. They're being financed. We don't know from who in every case. But they are, they're creating manuals, an anti-ICE hotline. They're trying to tip off illegals and take away the element of surprise, putting ICE agents in jeopardy. You have lefty TikTokers, according to the New York Post today, orchestrating groups of women who try to bait ICE agents, on these dating websites. I guess Tinder, I don't know, Hinge, all these dating websites, and then try to entice them and flirt with them, and hopefully they all send naked pictures to each other. I mean, just as a way of entrapping them. On Friday on TV, I had this congressman from Michigan, Sri Manadar, on. It went very viral because I'm sick and tired of all this crap. And let me just give you this is one example of my exchange with him. And I pressed him, if ever once, he didn't stand for Laken Riley and Jocelyn Nungary's family. And did you ever call one family member, a victim of violent crime? Listen,
Did you stand to honor those
I did not
families?
stand because the president.
You sat on your
I was
ass.
just sick
So
of
you
the
sat. So I
president.
want to be
I
clear.
did not.
You sat on your ass, and you wouldn't stand for families of that lost children. A 12-year-old girl raped and murdered, and you couldn't stand for them because you were playing politics. Is that right? I want this audience
Look, I would not stand for this president. I would not stand for this president. He was
not
lying.
one standing
He was
for them.
boasting.
You were standing for the families that lost little girls that were murdered by the illegal immigrants that you want to remain in the country. Is that true or false?
Look, this president was using a tragedy.
I'm not talking
such as
about it.
Riley's death.
What about those families? Have you ever picked up a phone? Because there are thousands of Americans that have been murdered and raped and victims of violent crime. Have you ever spoken to any? Have you ever called them to offer your condolences? Name one family. Name one family.
Look, every immigrant, everyone
Have
must
you
follow
ever called
American
them?
laws.
Have you ever picked up a phone and called a victim's family?
Look, I talk to my constituents.
Not a hard
all the
question.
time.
Not hard.
Yeah, I
Have
do.
you
I
ever
do.
picked up your phone and called them? Have you done that one time?
Look, I talk with my constituents all the time. My constituents are being terrorized by ICE.
Have you ever called an American family that has been a victim, murdered, raped, tortured by an illegal immigrant? Yes or no, Congressman?
I am sure I have met people. I am sure I have met people.
I'll take that as a no.
I'll play more of that coming up. I grilled this guy. This guy voted against a bill mandating the deportation of illegal immigrants convicted of sex crimes. I mean, this is how mad the left has gotten out of control. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah, he is. He can barely speak English, too.
We have the latest out of Iran. We have the Greenland debate. We got great economic news.
I love to say I grew up in Michigan, but it's gotten so bad. Dearborn and that guy's area.
I'll explain that coming up. But, some people still struggling under the Biden-Harris economic hangover. It's changing. Just hang in there. But if you own a home and you find yourself that paying high-interest credit card debt, you might want to reach out to our friends at American Financing. If you've been hesitant, you don't want to give up your 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at 3-4%. They are going to go back down to that number. It's now in the 5s.
Locals, New York.
Policies, but they have what's called the Smart Equity Loan. And it's a way to get your finances back on track without giving up that low rate.
They have Witless there in Michigan.
No obligation,
Witchmer.
no pressure, consultation. And right now they're saving their average customer over $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 a year raise and a way to get out of the death spiral that comes along.
She's trying to
credit card debt. Call them now.
She's trying to get her crooked Secretary of State to be the next governor too. And what sucks is that the Secretary of State in Michigan is the one controlling the next election, and she's running for governor. Just like in fucking Arizona. That's psycho. Yeah, Java.
Stations. Wow. This is the Sean Hannity Show. Are you ready to own your own business? Mr. Sandless, the #1 wood floor refinisher in the world, is looking to open 50 new locations this year. You could be the exclusive Mr. Sandless owner right where you live. Mr. Sandless uses a wet refinishing process that delivers beautiful floors without the mess and cost of traditional sanding. Mr. Sandless has already refinished more than 150 million square feet of wood floors with no sanding and nothing to clean up afterwards. Here's their offer. You get the franchise, the territory, the training, the manual, the cloud-based CRM, the equipment, marketing materials, and solutions, all for just $19,000. You can put that on a credit card. How much can you make? The average Mr. Sandless owner last year made $175,000 working part-time. Full-time operators make much more than this.
I need to get some gas before I go back out there. We'll see if I can find a cheap station on the way.
That's msfranchise.com. But hurry, as the best territories will go fast. msfranchise.com.
Yeah.
Every business is asking the same question. How do we make AI work for us? The possibilities are endless, and guessing is too risky. But sitting on the sidelines is not an option, because one thing is almost certain. Your competitors are already making their move. No more waiting. With NetSuite by Oracle, you can put AI to work today. NetSuite is the #1 AI cloud ERP, trusted by over 43,000 businesses. It's the unified suite that brings your financials, inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM into a
one-day billboard sale for the 22nd.
That's what makes your AI smart. So it doesn't just guess, it knows. And you've got total flexibility, because now with NetSuite AI Connector, you can use the AI of your choice to connect your
I'm heading that direction anyway.
Every question you ever had.
I'm on pause right now for orders. If I get there early enough, I may go active again for one more order, but I need to be there around 4, so this has me getting there around 3:50, so I may just let the timer run out and end this initial dash.
Terrific. President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2. And you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your
cut right through Toledo here.
Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation.
It's rush hour, so I'm not even going to mess with the freeways right now. People are driving like idiots.
And more as they expose the big media lies. The Washington swamp. And they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join
about 3:55 if I cut through town.
Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Bespoke Biologics invites you to make 2026 the year you take control of your health with advanced next-gen stem cell options designed to support healthy aging. And new this year, Bespoke Biologics now offers access to Muse stem cells, an exciting development in regenerative medicine. You may have seen celebrities and athletes traveling abroad to explore these treatments. Now you can too. Muse stem cells are carefully expanded in a controlled laboratory and delivered through an IV, supporting healthy aging, optimizing cellular energy, promoting mental clarity, and helping the body maintain a balanced immune system. Bespoke offers treatments in Cancun and just 20 miles south of San Diego. High-quality medical care in a comfortable, luxurious setting. Schedule now for direct access to Bespoke physicians who can discuss all your options. Call 888-326-STEM. That's 888-326-STEM. Bespoke Biologics. These therapies are not available in the U.S. and are not FDA approved.
There's 4 pipes in the back of that Yukon, but there's only exhaust coming out of the two on the left.
I'm Jay Jackson,
I bet you
CEO of Abacus Life.
half the cylinders go dormant whenever on low power during low power mode. Probably when they hit the gas, you'll see both.
We've created a free
I've seen that before.
calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new
they hit the gas and all 4 fire up.
dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
This is Senior Section Patriots Channel 125.
Let me go to the second round. It's Free Fanadar, and this was Friday night on Hannah.
You voted against the bill mandating the deportation of illegal immigrants convicted of sex crimes. Can you explain that to me?
Well, look, anybody who breaks U.S. laws, an immigrant that breaks U.S. laws, should be deported. So anyone that commits...
That's not what you said. Sir, you voted against the bill that mandated
The deportation of illegals convicted of sex crimes. Do you regret that vote now? No, I don't regret that vote. Look, no bill is perfect, and many times if it was your wife, your sister, your daughter that was raped, that's a sex crime. You want that person to stay? Look, there are multiple things in a bill. I don't agree with every one of them. Sir, you got to answer the question. If your wife, your daughter, your girlfriend, mother was raped by an illegal immigrant, you voted against the bill that would deport these illegals convicted of sex crimes. You're perfectly fine if they stay in the country. Sean, look, I serve in Congress. I don't think you ever That's what you voted on, though, right? Most of the bills. Look. Why did you vote for that? Are not perfect. Why did you vote for that?
Imagine you're on vacation with your sweetheart.
Mikey put his feet to the fire on that. He wouldn't let him scroll out of it.
It's nothing like you've ever seen before. In my opinion, this is one of the most special roses we've ever produced in the last 45 years. Hi, it's me, your pal, Steven Singer. Yeah, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. I'm here to make your Valentine's Day romantic, unforgettable, easy, and fantastic.
I might pick up one order on the other side of, let me see how much time I got left. Before the timer kicks off.
Guaranteed for life. Visit me.
6 minutes. Right at the very end, I'll go live again for one order.
Hi, I'm Todd Kinchin, retired NFL wide receiver. I've spent my life learning.
Oh, just pull out in front of me there, homie.
Consistency
There you go.
and the right team behind you. Before True Trade, trading was stressful. I'd second guess every move, lose sleep, and feel like I was constantly chasing the market. Then I discovered True Trade. Their AI-driven platform does the heavy lifting for you. It's a plug-and-play system.
And I think they would be pretty high-tech no matter what type of car they are. I think you should definitely consider making hybrid Teslas. You know,
or more in trading capital and no service fees
like mine. You don't ever have to plug it in. Let the small engine charge the electric part. Range would go through the roof on them.
The True Trade app today to get started. That's TRUTRADE. True Trade, where technology earns for you. See terms.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future resuls.
Basically, that's what people are doing. The ones that put little fucking generators in the trunk.
Many companies
for when they run out of power, they can't find a charging station.
This is how many Search Kings has. Search Kings has over 1,500 five-star Google reviews. No wonder Google hand-selected Search Kings as a Google Premier Partner. You want to stand out where your customers are online? Switch to Search Kings.
I have no issue with electric cars. It's just you got no range. They don't respond well in the winter. I get a lot less. My gas mileage goes down about 5 miles to the gallon when it gets super cold because the batteries don't perform as well in the cold. They don't hold as much of a charge. And same thing with super heat too. I love my truck.
Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Perillo with JoePerillo.com. We know many of you are searching for just that right pre-owned luxury vehicle. That's why I want to tell you about JoePerillo.com. At JoePerillo.com, you can browse our huge selection of curated luxury vehicles. JoePerillo.com.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother going live.
But we ship cars all over the country. Check out
I'll end up getting a fucking 40-minute fucking delivery. Instead, I'm just going to grab a bite to eat, meet with a couple buddies here for a few hours, and then I'll probably go live again. Doing some more dashing.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team
Hey, Leo Watcher, pop over and say hi on Rumble for me, please. I need a couple unique chatters.
So don't wait and don't take them on alone.
For my content creator pay.
You can trust. Call Optima today for a free consultation. Call 800-611-8892. 800-611-8892. 800-611-8892. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Navigating life stages, Caring Transitions offers support for every step of the way. For seniors relocating or downsizing, we offer a compassionate, individualized approach that provides comprehensive solutions. Estate sales, our experts will list your items on our exclusive online platform, CT Bids. Preserving memories and keeping your family's best interests at heart. And for those tough cleanouts, we're here to help. Visit CaringTransitions.com. Caring Transitions, embracing new beginnings with confidence.
This is Sirius XM Classic, channel 125.
Who? You mean who?
Hannity uncovers the real truth about the politics of D.C.
You, Leo?
Watchdog on Big Brother every day.
We'll get you a free premium subscription as well. You won't even have to watch any ads.
Top of the hour, 800-941-SEAN, our number. You want to be a part of the program. All right, health, wellness, fitness, nutrition. I hope it's on your agenda item this year, and you want to get in the best shape possible and eat as healthy as possible. That's where Grainberry cereal comes in. That's where Silver Palette Pasta Sauce, according to Linda, comes in. Healthy alternatives that you and your family are going to love, thanks to our friends Peter Harris, his great family. Look, just use cereal, for example. Go down the cereal aisle of your local grocery store. And I saw this idiot online. Linda, it really pisses me off. I never look at these comments of these jokes. Hannity doesn't go grocery shopping. I'm like, do I not talk about me going grocery shopping all the time? I'm like addicted to it. I love going grocery shopping. Love
You do. You love going shopping in general. You just need to do it quickly.
No. I don't like to go to like department stores because I get drained immediately. But if you go to look at like, I don't know, Frosty Flakes, or look at
I'm looking to see who I'm going to raid once I get stopped. Quartering is still going. I will him, but he probably will be done by then. Usually he starts. He starts at 2 o'clock. So
anyway, then you pick up a box of Grainberry Bran Flakes or Grainberry.
he's probably already done with his live.
Grainberry lowered sugar, made with natural plant-based fiber, antioxidants. They have their whole grain. It's called Onyx sorghum, and helps slow sugar absorption. That's healthier for you. And again, try Grainberry. They have honey nut, apple cinnamon, Grainberry cinnamon frosted, and trust me, they're great cereals. They taste great, and the best pasta sauce in the entire world. Linda, what's it called?
Silver Palette Pasta Sauce by the awesome Peter Harris.
All right, but it's sauce. It's not sauce. It's not sauce.
It is sauce.
They have their marinara. They have their pizza sauce. They have jalapeno vodka sauce. They got it all. Anyway, just check it out. Grainberry cereal, Silver Palette Pasta Sauce, available at grocery stores near you. And check it out. Probably it's in your health food aisle. It's so good. We're going to get back to this issue of ICE throughout the program today. Large protesters today, by the way, gathered inside a Target in West St. Paul this morning, singing anti-ICE songs in an effort to get Target officials to condemn ICE. Now chanting, abolish ICE. That's now their new mantra, abolish ICE.
Yeah, they just didn't want to be out in the cold. That's why they went inside that Target.
Good luck with that. I don't think it's going to end very well for them.
Target's private property too, so
did you know we have this?
Wonder how long they let that go.
How much do you know about Greenland? Do you know a lot about Greenland?
Only thing is, I'm sure the cops aren't even responding to that shit for them. They took them forever to get out there for that church, and then they didn't arrest anybody who was refusing to leave. Although a First Amendment auditor stands on the sidewalk in front of her church, and he could get arrested.
By what she called this
or in front of a bank or something like that on the sidewalk.
During the 60s and 70s, thousands of women in Greenland as young as 12 were fitted with contraception devices, IUDs, and well, we can't change what's happened, said the Prime Minister of Denmark, but we can take responsibility on behalf of Denmark. I want to say I'm sorry, acknowledging that victims have experienced both physical and psychological harm. The scale of the birth control program first brought to light only a couple of years ago, but it was like institutionalized. Now, we had heard anecdotally that if you're from Greenland and you go to Denmark, that they discriminate against you. They don't even like you. And so this issue, I don't care what NATO says. I don't care. NATO, unfortunately, the president is not saying it as overtly. He's mentioning it. NATO is, in many ways, it has become weak and ineffective. And the only way NATO can be successful is if the United States is involved with NATO and formed for all the right reasons. But Europe...
Has anybody seen Bow online lately?
Without insisting on assimilation. And that's now resulted in even Great Britain has 80, 85 Sharia courts in Great Britain. Now, Sharia is the antithesis of, for example, our Constitution. Doesn't mean people can't practice religion, but the implementation of Sharia or living separate and apart in a country that you go to, it's like you have your own country within a country. It's insane. Anyway, so the president now is looking at NATO as being weak.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a bit.
I don't think Vladimir Putin fears NATO, but for the United States. And President Trump had to force these NATO nations to step up and start paying their fair share for national defense because they're paying next to nothing. And before him, they paid nothing and next to nothing. And President Trump announced Saturday that he's going to put a 10% tariff on several European allies unless Denmark agrees, to allow America to use Greenland, which would be in defense of all NATO nations, and it would benefit the people of Greenland. And now the European Union's response is to freeze a trade deal with the U.S., and they're threatening to use its trade bazooka policies. Good luck fighting Donald Trump. And there is, a lot of strategic reasons, and the president has been very clear about them. The idea that we need it for strategic defense. That's all there is to it. And that's NATO strategic defense.
I don't see any reason why he would be.
For example, Russia.
I mean, he may.
Look what's happened with Ukraine, and they barely want to up their defense spending, and they have become weak and woke.
Usually, a lot of people start going off about it when he does end up in there. All the usual suspects haven't said nothing. And the river's froze over. There's no water movement at all.
Largely uninhabited. Greenland is roughly one person for every 1,000 soccer fields, if you want an analogy. Very sparse population. And anyway, 80% of the island is covered in an ice sheet. And despite the small population, they occupy a landmass comparable to many global powers. And, it is nearly the size of Alaska and Texas combined, if you want a comparison. Now, Greenland's location off Canada's northeastern coast puts it right in the heart of Arctic defense planning and European defense. And the U.S. has maintained a military outpost since 1953, now operated by the U.S. Space Force, but Russia also maintains several military installations in the region, and China has sought greater access since declaring itself a near-Arctic state in 2018. So there's a battle over Greenland. There's one other thing. I mean, it is rich in rare earth minerals, and those rare earth minerals are at the center, heart and center right now, of modern economies and militaries, and they allow electronics to be smaller and more powerful and more efficient, and their importance is even more pronounced in terms of the necessity.
That's been that way for a long time.
Defense, where rare earths are used in missile guidance, radar,
a lot of illegal arrests.
advanced aircraft. Now, this, by the way, has been an ongoing battle in this country for a long period of time. If you look at the world's largest rare earth deposits, they're found in China, Vietnam, Brazil, Russia, Australia, Greenland, and the United States. But China dominates the supply chain with about 60% of global mining. And that was part of the deal that the president made with
Across
China.
the street here,
As
this
he
guy
pointed out a
get
year
by
ago,
me.
I was chairman of the Senate Commerce Committee. I chaired a hearing.
There's actually a spot right in front there.
Acquiring Greenland. Now, a lot of people are just taking Donald Trump, and they don't. You think after this long a period of time of Trump being, in 10 years on the world stage, 11 years on the world stage, you might learn a thing or two about Trump. Everything with Donald Trump is a negotiation. He's already talked about giving everyone in Greenland $100,000, which would make them rich because many of the people in Greenland are poor because they've been treated so horribly by the people in Denmark. The EU now, this is going to be their tough stand. It's not even. It's just a bad joke. By the way, I got to give the U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz credit. They have just reduced the entire UN budget a whopping $570 million and got rid of nearly 3,000 ridiculous jobs. Their history of
hang on, I need you guys to ride the
has been well chronicled on this program.
Ride the raid
By a few others. I have been telling you that the economy is going to change. We have the
Fed
now predicting 5.1%.
Say hi into wherever I sent you, and then
GDP growth.
We'll go from there.
You want to go back to real GDP growth since Donald Trump took over. Remember, it was in the 1% range, and it was like 0% under Joe Biden, and we were close to 2 quarters of negative growth, which would have been a recession. The third quarter GDP, because of Trump policies, 4.3%. Fourth quarter projections now 5.1%. Want a fantastic chart? The biggest after inflation income gain in the last 20 years. Rising tide lifts all boats. That would be the net change in household income level.
Russell Brand's accepting rates.
Donald J. Trump, since he's been in office. From January 25 to November of 2025. It jumped from a whopping 4,350
of the 12-step program. But Joe, what were you thinking there, mate? 'Cause I saw you were ready to go when about a year ago.
So I see it as when you make that decision moving forward, having taken your inventory and the preceding steps, it kind of means to detach from your thinking.
All right, let me see here. Mine. Alrighty, thanks for hanging out. Tell them over on Russell Brand's chat I said hi. Y'all have a great one. Alrighty, thanks for hanging out.